Does everybody know the first rule of Lightning Talk Club?
Sorry? You're going to use...
No, it's not that. It's the Lightning Talks only last for 5 minutes. I thought you should know. Okay, yeah? So, to help the speaker know when it's time to stop talking, about 10 seconds before the 5 minutes are up, I'll raise one hand. And when I do that, I would like you to clap with just 2 fingers like that. Yes? So if everybody does it, they get this little noise that tells them that it's happening. And at 5 minutes, I'll raise 2 hands, and then you can burst out into applause, and we'll send them off the stage for the next one. Okay? So
5 minutes?
You'll have 5 minutes. Chuck, where's Chuck? Chuck, you'll be next. Then Ronnie, where's Ronnie? You'll be next. So you should come to the front, please. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready to start the timer? Please welcome Paolo.
Thank you. Hi everyone, it's very great to be here. I applied for a talk in this conference, but they refused me, so I'm trying to do the same talk in 5 minutes. So the title of the talk is Many Ways to be a Python Contributor, but actually I'm more a Django contributor, so I'll try to, as I said, say the same things in 5 minutes. I'm Paolo Vecchiore, I'm member of PSF, DSF, and Python Italia, icon organizer of PyCon Italia, as you can see from my t-shirts. I'm organizer of Python Pescara, and Django contributor and coach of Django Girls. So I'll list a way to be better Python contributor or Django contributor. The first one is writing code. I started writing code in the Plon days with Zope Plon, and was a great way to be a better Python contributor. Another way is to joining a community. I joined my first community in Florence. I discovered about Django at EuroPython 2011, and it was a very good way to improve as a contributor. Another way to be a better contributor is getting involved. I started getting involved in DjangoCon Europe 2017 in Florence. It was a great way to see other people volunteering, organizing a conference, and decided to start getting more involved. The same conference, I joined a sprint. I suggest you to join a sprint. I'm here with Marcus and Mark. They helped me with my first sprint, and I learned a lot of things. And after that, I contributed for the first time with a big feature in the Django code, and they merged for Django 2.0 version. Another way to be a better Django contributor is speaking at a conference, like this one. And this is a picture of my first ever talk in Florence. I talked about full text search with Django, of course. And also coaching people is great to be a better contributor. And here my first Django Girls workshop in Rimini. Then I decided also, after joining a sprint, to organizing a sprint about the Django website, when we decided to remove the external search engine and work on the internal one. And after that, I decided to contribute to the Django website, and I replaced, starting from the point, the documentation search, full text search, and I replaced it with Postgres. This is the documentation, and this is all the functionality you can find in the full text search. And it was a great way to improve a lot and work in a bigger blog website. I started also creating a blog, writing an article about Django and Python, and it's also wrote a bit of front-end code I'm not used to be. And then I decided I'm on my risk to sharing content online, Hacker News, for example, and I received a lot of criticism and I improved a lot from this criticism. I suggest to do the same if you are brave enough. And then I started to answering questions. I stopped searching for answer on Stack Overflow and started searching for questions because it was a way to answer on my own and to improve on a particular subject. Then I tried to help translating the Django documentation. With the Italian team, finally we merged our documentation, and we reached a certain amount of translating doc strings, and was very funny. I also tried to increase the diversity in the community and also about myself. I joined my first international DjangoCon in Copenhagen, and I think being part of the community and meeting people from everywhere, it's a way to meet other people and increase the diversity. I also started studying for a member of the community, and I tried also to inspire the community. Here I met PyCon.de after the pandemic of friends, and they suggested me to contribute back and write in the forum. I also tried to organize conferences like NC, promoting PyCon Italia, and organizing also a workshop. My first Django Girls workshop organized in my hometown, and then I started a community local in Pescara. There is no other communities. I started a Python Pescara community, and I iterate all over the other point, I'll say, because we organized dinner, talks, trick, we cook, and we went to the university, and this is it.
Okay, well, we know how it works, so welcome, Chuck.
Hi. Hello, I'm Chuck, and I like taking up a lot of hobbies and learning new things. For example, I learned how to wear a kimono, and that's why you're seeing me wearing a kimono. Another thing that I decided I want to learn is to do stenotyping. So I've just ordered a keyboard today, and I'll show you which one I ordered. So first of all, what is stenotyping and why I want to learn it, right? So, well, this is not the keyboard that I ordered, but this is like maybe like how it looks typically. It's actually the fastest way to type, and it's like, you know, if you're fluent with it, you can type it in like 225 words per minute. It's used by these amazing people who's doing transcription for us. So the way you type is actually pressing all the keys at once. So like normally you type, you do it like one alphabet at a time, right? But when you're using these kind of keyboard, you just like press like multiple key all at once. It looks really cool. Let's see if I can play this video. The sound doesn't matter, but like to show you a little bit of how it looks like. Hope the internet works. Yeah, come on. Okay, please. Okay. Yeah. So you see that like you put all the fingers on the keyboard, and then so you press all of them at once. You can see that like that's the key press on the bottom left there. Then you see it's like actually very fast. All the words just like pop up like one by one. So some people say like, oh, is it done by AI or something? It's actually not. So when you press all the key, actually like there's a driver there to detect actually like from the key press which word it corresponds to, and they will show up on the screen. So, can I go to the next slide? Okay. So there are a few fun facts that I learned from just watching YouTube videos. So first of all, when you type in a steno keyboard, the only sound matters. So for example, if you want to type cat, actually you type K-A-T instead of C-A-T because, you know, the sound is cat. So, you know, K-A-T sounds like cat. So yeah, it works. Also, on that keyboard, you see there's only like 22 key or so. It's like, and it doesn't have an I key. So to type I, you have to press E and U together. I hope I get this right. Talking about that in front of the experts. And also in the keyboard, there's like two P keys. So actually there's one on the left and one on the right. So one is for the beginning P, one is for the ending P. So yeah, it's quite cool. It's so different from what I know from typing. So this is the keyboard that I bought. It looks like just like, you know, a circuit board or anything. Like it's super fun. It's only $50 US, including a driver that is actually open source. I'm not affiliated with this company. I just found them, and I found it's really cool what they're doing. They're just like promoting stenotyping, and I think more of us should take up this hobby. You know, nowadays there's like, we have all the convenience, we have AI and everything, but it doesn't stop me from learning this. It's kind of like, now we have Google Translate, but people still using Duolingo to learn new languages. So for me, I like challenging myself, learning new things, and maybe one day I can join the transcription team, maybe, I don't know. Maybe next year we can have a typing contest, and if I'm using that keyboard, maybe I can beat all of you, so yay, thanks.
Okay, hi. Since I didn't bring my laptop, I'm zero prepared, but I think this is the idea of lightning talks. In the projects I worked with, I always had the problem that migration files would pile up, and it would be very, very tedious to get rid of them. And if you go with the Django way, you would use the squash migration command. but in practice you will have, if you have ever done this, I probably will know, you will have many circular dependency issues, and it takes ages, and in the end, if I control the database, I don't really care about the migrations. If once they're applied in production, it's basically kind of garbage. So I found a pattern on the internet from some person, and it's called Migration Zero, and I tried to implement this, calling Django Migration Zero. This is the package. Unfortunately, there was a Migration Zero Django package or something. I didn't really check the naming. You should do this once before you create a package. Nevertheless, if you type this at PyPy, you will find it. And the idea is that here's a TLDR. The idea is that there's a command for helping you clean it up. This is the easy part. The tricky part is to, if you just delete the files, you need to update your database as well, because there's a migration history in the database. And doing this manually on production is very tedious, and nobody wants to do this. So in practice, nobody would ever clean up the migration, because squashing takes time, and doing it manually is fiddling around your production database, which you probably don't have access to. So I don't know, it's kind of hard. So there's a management command. You can just put in your continuous deployment and an admin interface where you can basically say, okay, now I'm doing the cleanup. And yeah, then everything happens, not magically, but out of the box, kind of. It works very well. I have it in many projects, and it solves, at least for me, the problem. So if you're interested, then check out my Django Migration Zero and not the other one, because I don't know anything about it. Thank you.
Contributor to Django CMS. My name is Fabian. I'm the Django CMS Fellow at the Django CMS Association. Besides Django CMS, the DCA also provides another third-party app, which is quite popular, the Django Filer. It's a reusable Django app, which you can use to organize any media files in folders, manage their permissions, and make sure you don't pile up dead data on your file storage. In the past month, Jacob redesigned the package to give it a boost in usability, and I'm glad he will now, has already started demonstrating a preview, and he's calling it Django Finder. If that is a resemblance to any app you might have known on your desktop, that's a pure coincidence. So it offers an admin interface, which is initially empty, but you can create folders, subfolders, drag files onto your desktop like in the admin. You can export them in the same manner. And just download it. You can rename files easily. It's not easy on the desk there. You just start typing in the new name. You can navigate through the folder tree. You can always pin the current folder.
Sorry, I'm just showing you can just thumbnail any part of it, and then this will be taken in the detail in the list view. You can just save this here. And now we get the smaller part of that. What you can do is to pin the folders so that you can remember them, and then you, for instance, go to another one.
And move files from there, which is one thing you always wanted to do. Once you have them.
Movie like this, and you can, something you can do is to create for any MIME type, you can create your own plugin, which then handles the detail view of those files and even the list view, the part of the list view. And I can show you something for audio files where you also might want to thumbnail them. Audio files you cannot thumbnail. Just show you here how that works. Takes some time. Load it. So you just can take any samples out of here. and then save it. And if you hover over the file, can you hear that?
You could hear on your machine. You could hear now the audible thumbnail, so to speak.
And so you can also drag files from here to one of those pin folders, and you can just reorganize all the files you have. And that's something which somehow was missing in the Django ecosystem. Django CMS had something similar, but I now redesigned it with a much better user interface.
So let me just mention, it's also multi-tenant, so you can have several root folders. And now please give Jacob a big hand and encourage him to finish his work and add the permission system on access controllers, which we just mentioned.
So please reserve any clapping until the end. My name is Donatus Ressikauskas. I recently started working at Fly.io, and there's a lot of hype about distributed systems there. So when you think about distributed systems, what you need to think about is like a bunch of nodes that are connected by some arcane incantation, and together they bring a user experience that is highly available, fault-tolerant, and scalable. Highly available because these nodes can be wherever in the world. Fault-tolerant because whenever one of these nodes falls over, they can be replaced by another node or they self-heal. And scalable because you can add and remove nodes at will. Obviously, we can do better. So I got to thinking, and I thought, what if we have like a paradigm shift here and invert this? So I came up with this. This is what I call the distributed user. It is highly unavailable, fault-prone, and not scalable. The way that it works is you have a single system that serves an app that is distributed over multiple users. So you need multiple users to collaborate in order for the app to function. So it's highly unavailable because you need a lot of collaboration. It's fault-prone because every device is slightly different and can fail in many unique ways. And it's not scalable because for every functioning app, you just need a bunch of devices. I can see some confusion at this point. You may be thinking, like, what could you actually do with this? So you could come up with something like 3FA. You need 2 phones to get like the full code to get through your 2-factor authentication. You could have like the real Netflix family plan, like having to kind of combine multiple devices in order to get the full television show that you're looking for. And I guess the real benefit of this is that you get something that I call truly immortal apps. Because if any one of these devices fails, like you still have 75% of your Netflix show. It's still there. Like you get the gist of it. So now we get into demo mode. And I will make everything a bit smaller, hopefully. And hopefully I have audio too. So what I've made is a drum app. So I will start playing the audio here, hopefully. Yes. So what we hear here is a bit of a hi-hat. But that's not really a drum machine. Like this is part of our distributed user app. So let's add a snare here. Will happen. Then let's add a bit of a kick to get like a full beat. Now we're going to modify this from our single control node. I feel a lot of pressure. So in a second we'll fall over to a different beat, hopefully. So any person that's sitting a bit closer to the front here can maybe see that, hold on, let me make this bigger, that this is not actually running on localhost. Like, this is an app. So let's get to the actual demo now. I would like anyone who can read to go to this address, which is workrux-drum.fly.dev, and then select one of the instruments, toggle audio, and then let's just see how unavailable, fault-prone, and unscalable this app really is. And in the meanwhile, if you're wondering how I actually made this app, this is a callback to one of the earlier talks. We're using server-sent events here, and that's how everything is getting synced up. How am I doing on time? 50 seconds. 50 seconds to make this demo work. So if I lower the volume, I should by now be hearing a bunch of phones. Unfortunately, not entirely in sync, but let's call it a swing rhythm. Thank you very much.
So, I gave this talk last year in Edinburgh, except this time I hope to not forget half of the stuff I want to say. So, I'm here to talk about the best event I've been to twice. I've been to DjangoCon 3 times, so it doesn't count. PyCamp Spain. This event has been done for more than 10 years in Argentina and in Spain for 3 times. I'm unaware of any other country doing anything similar, but I'm happy to know if there is any. There is one in Germany, but it's in a co-working. So this is how 30 people living for 4 days together in a rural house away from a city in the middle of the mountain, working together on projects and having fun. The last part is the important one. Imagine the DjangoCon sprints, except much, much less unproductive. And I mean that. Like last year I coded for half a morning. That's all I did in the full 4 days. So it's not productive at all. So the event is, as one of the co-organizers put it, calmly prepared on the fly. Now, I don't know if I can fit it out. Yeah, so on the first day, we propose the projects and vote on them. We try to make a schedule in which each project is assigned half a day. You can see it. And this doesn't mean you have to work on that project on that day. You can do whatever you want. As long you can spend the 4 days working in the nature. No one cares. As long as you don't break the code of conduct, you can do whatever. And you don't even need to... Sorry. You don't even need to know Python to come. Like this year we had a partner of someone that was a biologist. We had even children the first 2 years that came with their parents. Like it's pretty open to anyone. Now, so this works, no? Yeah, so this was one of the projects which was with pre-existing tiles with borders defined in the file name, generate a map in which the borders are correct. So brown with brown, blue with blue. Now, the version my team didn't fully work because there's a short amount of time, but we had 80% code coverage, which is a lot for a quick project. Now, the next one, using MicroPython, this built a laser tag. In like 2 days, and I'm not sure if I can play. Now, there is no sound, but if it plays, of course not. Well, basically imagine the Benny Hill theme, because that was something while everyone was running during the night, trying to attack each other with the light. Now, and finally, some photos that I just picked because random reasons here are working. There was a robot that I don't remember what it did. This was just talking. This was the info dumping workshop. And this is one of the photos. And this is another from this year. And finally, this year there were two Mario Kart tournaments. I didn't win any of them. And I'll wear tomorrow the PyCamp t-shirt, so if you have any advice or any questions, feel free to come with. And that's all.
Thanks, guys. So I'm here to talk to you about a formula that I've been cooking up. So the formula is NBA times Django plus Africa equals community. So the NBA is an acronym for the National Basketball Association. And Django is this small web framework that you might have heard about, I'm not really sure. And Nosebleed Section is a project which combined NBA and Django together. So I began working on this last year, combined my two loves, the NBA and Django. And the reason why I created it was because I wanted NBA fans to argue better. They have a big problem of arguing with emotions, and they're always wrong. So I'm gonna show you a quick demo. So let's say someone says, hey, LeBron James has only scored 2 points in his entire career, he sucks, right? You go on and you search LeBron James, and you will get his entire career stats. You can see he's actually scored over 40,000 points. And then they'll say, oh, you know what? LeBron has played 2 NBA seasons. He's clearly taking steroids, right? And then you check, his stats by the regular season, and you can see, oh, he's actually played over 20 years in the NBA, He's not on steroids. He's actually been very efficient and playing for a long time. So that's one feature, right? You might have people who argue certain players, like they like Michael Jordan over Kobe Bryant. So you want to search who scored more points over the course of their career. So you search them both into the search form. And what you get is a similar page from LeBron James, but you've got both players there. And now you want to check their actual points per game production. So you would go down to, so this is pre-recorded, points per game. And you get this very nice visual graph that shows the 2 points per game. And you can see clearly Michael Jordan has scored more than Kobe Bryant over the course of his career. Another feature is the Mavericks and the Oklahoma City Thunder were playing in the playoffs. And, you can see, how did the game results go? Who scored the most points? You can get the game breakdowns by quarter. You can see who the game leaders were and points, and statistics. And, it's just a great tool for fans to argue with facts over emotions. So now let me get into, at this point you might say, you know what, let me just keep up to date with the NBA. Let me see what's happening in the league. You can get news from the ringer.com, which is a site for getting sports news like the NBA. And you can read up and always be correct about your arguments from now on. So where does Africa fit into this? So as I was building this project, Africa is a continent that is my home. I'm from Zimbabwe, and the NBA is growing on the continent. And I figured, we need more opportunities to collaborate, to build communities, and to work on projects. And I thought this would be a great project to bring Python developers, Django developers together and build this project as a group instead of just having it by myself, because it gets lonely working on things by yourself. So this is a work in progress. Like I said, it's a formula I am cooking up. I haven't finished it, but I will be at PyCon Nigeria next month talking about it. So I hope to get a lot more African developers aware of it and building it and seeing how it goes. That QR code is for LinkedIn if you want to connect with me and talk more about it. But yeah, that's all. Thank you.